Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, depending on where you are. Good evening, perhaps. As you can see, we'll be getting started in, 2 minutes and 25 seconds or so. Make yourself comfortable. Thanks for being here with me this morning. And we'll get started shortly. And just a quick note, you might know this, you might not, but when you do chat in Zoom, which you're welcome and encouraged to do, I'll be prompting it. It's totally optional, of course. But wait a second. Can you all hear me? Check, check, check. Okay, good. It's weird. It's the audio is not lighting up on my screen. It's like, that would be bad. Good. So if you chat in Zoom, people can see your name. There is an option to change it. You can, like, I think click the three dots next to your name and you can like change your Zoom name if you want. Okay, welcome everybody. Nice to be with you again. Thanks for coming today. If you were here yesterday as well, great to see you again. And we're going to be continuing on this theme of self-fixing, always trying to do something to ourselves to fix a broken self, to having a little more self-compassion, which ironically actually helps a lot of these processes, if not all of these processes, whether that's EFT tapping, any type of emotional work, meditation, right? It works better when it's coming from a place of working with ourselves as though we're something that we're actually having a relationship with and we want to have a good relationship with it versus how do we get rid of all the bad stuff so we can finally have a good life, which is the paradigm things are understandably often presented in. So today's topic is going to be an interesting one. I really like this topic. I feel like it's not discussed so often, which is releasing the self-fixing in your particular practice. So we'll be exploring this and we'll be doing group tapping and group processing around the subject. So really what we mean by this is taking a look at your particular practices, whatever it is you do, however it is you conceptualize this whole theme of working on yourself, whatever that means. So to begin, we're going to do a little exploration around this. And you'd be surprised how often this question is not really examined. It's just sort of assumed that we have an answer to it. Good morning, Maureen. Nice to see you. So if we take a look at how do you think this all works, right? It can sound like a broad question. It is a little broad, but we're going to narrow down a little bit. So I want to examine your general framework about what you think healing or emotional work actually means. This affects everything. So if, for example, one person believes, okay, the secret to all of this is to just quiet my mind completely. And so my goal every day is to try to meditate and quiet my mind and then it's all just going to change or it's all going to work out. I'm not saying that's bad or wrong. We're just saying, okay, that's one potential thought process that's not uncommon. And let's say someone else has the perspective, I need to change or reprogram or rewire every limiting belief in my mind. And when I find the negative beliefs and I change those beliefs into positive ones, then all of this great stuff starts happening. Now, those two different people are going to have very different concepts of how they approach this stuff, what they're trying to do, what they're going for. And what gets really wild is a lot of us have multiple ideas that are incompatible and we don't even realize it. So we've just picked up different things along the way. Like, okay, I need to really quiet my mind, or I need to let go of every emotion, but I also need to constantly feel good and positive emotions. And I need to be kind to my inner child, but I also need to, let go of or rewrite every non-helpful belief in my mind. And it can get a little bit overwhelming. So close your eyes for a sec. You can start tapping on your collarbone if you are a tapper by default. If that distracts you, though, don't worry about it, because we just want to sit with this question a little bit. What do you believe the goal or the process is with this emotional work stuff? How do you think it works? What are you trying to do with yourself? And notice you may have like the answer I think I'm supposed to say, but sit with it for a moment and say, okay, when I'm actually sitting down to do something, for example, or when I say, okay, I want to go do some tapping, or I want to go listen to this meditation, what is your framework behind this is what I'm trying to accomplish here? As a human, it's pretty difficult to not do things without some sort of intention or goal behind them. So if I'm practicing my instrument, it's in theory to sound more like the way I want to sound, to be able to play the music more freely. And in my case, being my profession, I want to do it so I can also play gigs like I did last night and then play them better. So it gets more specific, right? What is the actual intention for you? And what does the process look like? How do you think it works? I'm supposed to change all my beliefs. I'm supposed to let go of everything. Maybe you're not alone if it's like, I don't really know, I kind of just do all these techniques and then something's supposed to happen someday. And if you're up for it, it would be interesting and I think beneficial for people to put in the chat, okay, what are some of these different frameworks? What do people have going on? Also, let me know if you're noticing any conflicts. Like, wait a minute, I believe this and I also believe this. That could be potentially butting heads. So that will be a good thing for us to bring into the tapping for the exploration. So while people are typing in there, let it sink in that, like, yeah, this is going to greatly affect anything we do in life. So if I believe I'm trying to whatever, right? My goal is that I need to play every note perfectly in tune all the time, and that's the most important thing. Or I need to play my instrument as high and fast as possible because that's really impressive, right? That has a very different objective. What you're going to practice is going to be very, very different. So let's see, do we have anything? Not yet. I'll give everyone else a moment to share. It's fine if you don't. It just means that when we do the exploration, it's going to be not as specific for you, which is okay. I really just don't know how to live my life, but these others do know. Therefore, if I fix myself, follow their directive, then I will be living right. Okay, beautiful. So that's another thing to examine, a really good thing to examine, right? Do I look for just someone else to give me the answer? We have, it seems that when I'm under stress for too long, without regulating it, my body gets stuck or sick. Okay, so we need to self-regulate. Inner peace and stability, being in congruence with myself, in alignment, settling my ADHD, have better relationships, clarity, better health, not be a bad person, become a more positive, likable person. Okay, great. These are great goals. And let's examine the question now. How do I believe I get there? That's what we want to really dial into for this specific process. What do I believe? And we're not saying any of these are wrong. We want to know, though, how do I believe I get to wherever I'm trying to go? Do I believe I get there through what? Tapping away all of my limiting beliefs and ideas, processing through all of my past trauma. That's one that sounds like, well, yeah, of course, but this is an important belief to examine, right? Do I believe I need to process all of my past trauma? In which case, there may be a element of your practice which begins hunting. Okay, I need to find traumatic experiences and repair them, process them, which is going to be very different if you have a different perspective. Like, I be present with myself, I allow what comes up, whatever needs to come up comes up organically. That's going to have a different effect, right? At this point, I'm wanting to be more accepting of where I am as a violinist musician, to be more curious each time I perform and practice. Peace of mind, freedom in playing. Okay, yeah, great goals. Great goals. How do you get there? What is your approach to emotional work? And if there's not a lot coming up, if it feels a little vague, we'll go with, I don't really know, or I have different ideas. I'm also very curious if you have conflicting ideas. Yes, why do I need to find every negative limiting belief? I'm tired of fixing myself. Okay, good. Do you think you have to, right? Yeah. So let's do a little tapping on this. Okay, here's a good one on YouTube. I believe I have to clear everything before I get what I want. Great. Anyone else think that? I have to clear whatever everything is. We have some yeses here. Yep. I got to heal and clear everything. Now let's look at the world objectively, right? Let's look at some of the richest and most powerful people, at least in America. Do they strike you as having processed and healed and let go of their egos, of their trauma, of their desires to, I don't know, whatever, right? I resist letting my body and mind rest. It's okay for me to rest. Yeah. I'm one of those who believes on an energetic level, things will change and external circumstances will change too. The biggest challenge is that my starting point is lack and despair. Deep, right? My mental health has been such a problem, it's been very on the surface. Don't need to dig much, it comes right up. So I have to resolve things to live my life at all, it seems. Okay, very good. This is great and insightful stuff. Thank you all for sharing this. And I'm curious, like, how much we ever spend time just talking about this together, right, or with other people. Because when we watch a video of someone talking or presenting any technique, whatever you have going on in the background is going to be assumed that that's what they're talking about, and it's going to be assumed in your practice. So you will be watching like some video about, I don't know, manifestation or trauma release exercise or something. And if you're like, I need to release all this before I can live a life, that's implicit now in your understanding. They might not be saying that, but that's going to be coloring everything in your experience. The self-fixing element is going to be part of your practice without necessarily realizing it. So this is good. So let's stay with this element of like, I need to fix and heal. I need to clear everything before I can get what I want. I need to resolve all of these things before I can live a life. This is from the chat. I'm not very interested in things of this world. So when I think about getting excited, healing process, I kind of feel confused. Okay, great. Yes. I am also definitely not implying that I am not coming from the place of like the purpose of this is you have this vision for your life, which is actually another belief system that's good to examine around this. Some of you on the chat probably will have this belief that I need to know what I want in this like specific way of I want to live here and I want to have this kind of partner and I want to have this kind of business. That's a belief that you even need to know that. There is a extreme other position, which is I don't know. My life unfolds in front of me. It's not me to decide my life. I am part of a much bigger organic process. And again, wildly, you might think like, wait, I think I kind of believe both. Uh-oh. I'm like doing all this manifestation stuff. But part of me, when Evan says, maybe this is all just part of a higher purpose unfolding naturally, that kind of sounds right. So now what the hell do I do with that? Very interesting, right? Also in the chat, feeling safe. I'm scared of harm if I'm at peace, that the other shoe will drop. Okay, fantastic. So we got a lot of good stuff here. Yes, I'm in that situation. Good. Okay. Let's do a little bit of tapping here. So let's say, even though I have a lot of beliefs about this that I might not even be aware of. Like, I have to clear and heal everything before I can have a life. Or I'm supposed to surrender to everything. I'm supposed to know what I want in life. And different parts of me might feel in conflict. I choose to have some compassion for myself and what I'm experiencing. So even though I, like all humans, have picked up some beliefs and ideas about what I need to do in order to heal, in order to have things I want in my life. And I don't know that they're right or wrong, but some may conflict. Some may not be serving me. I'm open to being with myself in a gentle and curious way, so I can be more clear about where I'm at with all this. Even though I may have a variety of beliefs about what I think needs to happen in order for me to heal, about what I need to think, or I need to quiet my mind. I need to change all these beliefs. I don't know if I'm supposed to surrender them or I need to manually change everything. Maybe I have very firm beliefs, but I'm not sure if they're actually working for me. I just choose to be gentle with myself right now as I take a look at all of this and how I relate to myself. So through the points now, let's say, what do I need to do to heal, to resolve some of this inner tension, to have the things I want in my life? Do I need to know what I want in my life? Is it my job to manually visualize, make a vision board, affirm everything I decide? And if so, what do I need to do for that to work? I might believe I need to clear and heal everything. Once I'm healed and clear of all old trauma, maybe I have to change all those beliefs. I have to let go of all the emotions. And then what's supposed to happen? Will I have like magic powers at that point? I might believe that. That's fine. It's certainly presented often as an idea. It's important for me to know what I actually believe, because that's how I'm approaching all of this stuff I do. Do I believe I'm fundamentally broken? And these techniques are to fix me. I choose to own whatever I believe. It's okay. I just need to know how I see it. And if so, what does that look like? How does that work? What's broken exactly? Let me try to be clear on that. Are my emotions broken? Does that mean I need to replace those emotions? Am I broken or damaged because of past events? And if so, what do I believe I need to do about that? Do I need to revisit, rewire those memories? Am I supposed to just totally let go of the past? Am I supposed to forgive everything? Like, I'm doing this work for some reason. Some part of me believes that something is possible. Otherwise, why be here today? I could be watching a show or something. Some part of me is saying there's some reason to do this work. There's something I believe can happen or change. What is that? What is it saying? What does it want? And maybe it might feel good to consider giving myself a moment of a vacation from all of my ideas, from everything I've learned about what needs to happen, and just listen to that part of myself. Just listen with curiosity. It's my body, mind, and nervous system. Do I listen to it? Or do I come at it with techniques? Not saying one is right or wrong. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know what my options are. I want to be able to assess how well what I'm doing is working. So just choosing to be curious. Just listen to what my body is telling me, what my heart is communicating, what my spirit or soul seems to be communicating about all of this to me. Not here to judge techniques. A lot of them obviously work for people. It's what I believe about myself, what I believe about techniques, how I'm doing it, not just what I'm doing. I choose to just listen and give myself some space. Okay, take a breath. Let's sit with that for a minute. I would love to hear if anything came up for you, if there's any more clarity, any more curiosity, and if you're, what's going on for you? Is this, what is this bringing up? This can really be everything from like fascinating to a bit jarring. It can be one of those things, kind of just like being human, right? Where you ever have those moments where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I don't know what's going on. I don't actually know what's going on here. Like, I know I'm have these tasks and I'm supposed to go to college and I'm supposed to make money, but like, what's actually, right? So it can create some of that as well. There is some value in not knowing when you approach yourself. There is a difference between, okay, I found a limiting belief, I need to go get rid of that, versus like, I don't know what's going on in there. Part of me feels as if this work is all a distraction from me living my life. That's insightful. And that can absolutely be true for people. You can stay home and do tapping as a way of avoiding going out and applying for that job, talking to that person, going to do whatever. There is a sweet spot, and it's important for us to kind of explore that. And that's part of why we do this. So thank you for sharing that. As someone who sort of does this work, you could argue like, you know, well, who clearly offers it, right? You could say, well, yeah, it's just always great to always be doing it all the time. You can't do too much of it. But how are you doing it? How are you using it? It came to me, I'm tired of all of this. Yes. Why can't I just be a normal person who are not even working on their emotions intentionally? Great. Yeah. Do you have the ability to do that? Because that might be something worthy of your exploration. Do I have the ability yet to like take the day off? Say, I'm just like looking at trees today. I'm not like processing things. And do you feel a constant sense of I have to get somewhere and be doing something and working on myself? This brought up my freeze response because I could not process what my beliefs are. Okay, thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Whenever, you know, you're just as a possibility, right? When I'm asking questions and things aren't coming up, and it's a good reminder for me, it's not like the goal is you have to get an answer. It's really more the act of like turning curiosity onto ourselves and what that feels like versus, hey everyone, we're going to tap away limiting beliefs for the next hour. We kind of like almost prefer that sometimes. But a lot of us have done a lot of that. And there's a value in, wait, what am I doing when I'm doing that? What do I believe? Since I've always been so disciplined and goal oriented, oh yeah, I can relate to that. It is eye-opening that it might be okay to not really know what I want in music at this stage. Yeah, right? That can be part of the belief structure. I need to know. I need to have clear goals and always be going towards them. That is a belief structure. There are people who live their life that just kind of float around. I mean, I'm a musician for a living. I've met people like this, right? It's pretty wild for someone who's like more structured, like I tend to be. Like, yeah, I kind of don't really live anywhere right now. I'm on the road a lot. It's like, man, that's pretty awesome. I couldn't do it, but that's just about knowing yourself. But there is an attitude of like not knowing. There's a spectrum within that. Sometimes people like that could use a little bit of ability to go into structure, like when it's time to pay taxes and stuff, right? Like we often need we do need some sort of balance with these things. Oh, some comments on YouTube here. I heard my love is broken. I'm undeserving. It felt like an anvil on my back. Okay, you got some great specific elements to tap with there. So it's been a shift of I have to fix all these things about me to get what I want, to know it's safe for me to just feel undeserving and shift to deserving as a choice. Yeah, good. So that's the other thing to examine about that, right? What do we do with the feeling of undeserving? So I will share part of my perspective on this as someone who, partly also to know, am I someone you're interested in hearing more from, right? It's good to know like who you're listening to or who you're spending time with. What do they believe? How do they approach this work? I do believe that the foundation of all of this kind of work and really most things in life come from a position of, we could call it allowing, we could call it not pretending to like things, but okay, here it is. This is here. I didn't choose it. I don't know necessarily why this is here, but if I am open, similar with other human beings, if I am open, I don't pretend to know anything about you, right? You could call that prejudice, right? If you look at someone and say, well, they look that way, they're this size, they're that shape, they dress like that, their skin is this color, I know something about them, right? What do we call that, right? So I kind of try to, as best I can, take that perspective with the emotional world, with the inner world. Oh, there's a belief, it sounds bad. Oh, there's a feeling of undeserving. That's bad, right? Versus, oh, there's a feeling coming up. My mind has given it a name, undeserving. Nothing wrong with giving it a name. But the actual process, what's happening, that's how I can be present with it. And if I'm immediately jumping to, I found a feeling undeserving, I need to what? Get rid of it. I need to change it into a feeling of a deserving. I don't find that long-term helpful. It can be short-term helpful, which make things even more confusing sometimes, because there's techniques that are like, no, change every thought. It's very ego-oriented in the sense, when I say that, I mean, I am the one who needs to change and manipulate everything. I need to find that. I need to change that. I need to rewire that. I need to, oop, there's a bad thought. I need to not look at that versus open. Here it is. Ooh, here comes a feeling. Ooh, this feeling really hurts. That's the space. And that takes practice to actually build some capacity to be like, here's that feeling. So for me, without that foundation, every technique is some form of get rid of, change, fix. I want to be really clear. I am not implying that the way that looks is you don't ever change something. You don't ever consciously do something. It's where it comes from. If it comes from immediate reactionary, there's a negative thought and I'm supposed to change every negative thought into a positive thought. And I have to be in my head all day going, what was that thought? Let me watch that. Oh, that wasn't a good thought. I should think a nicer thought. Does it sound helpful? I don't know. If you believe, well, that's how I get the result, then you're going to do it. I find it to be exhausting and not in tons of alignment with how reality works. But is there value in the approach of thought? Choosing a better thought? Yes, it's not a bad technique. It is a technique. Where are you coming from with it, right? People who can be obsessive or, like literally OCD, for example. Obviously, I'm not like I don't diagnose people or anything like that. I'm just saying there are people who have that, who the thought, changed negative thoughts into positive thoughts technique can be like catastrophic, right? So that's my point. I'm not here to judge specific techniques. It's like, how do we approach them? So curious what else is coming up for you around that and if that perspective is useful to you. So maybe I'm, from the chat, maybe I'm doing this spiritual stuff to avoid fixing myself. It's more comfortable to be here even though I don't like it. Yeah, and that's a common spiritual practice thing, right? To always just stay as awareness, rest as awareness, be the observer. You can run into problems, but it's good to be able to be the witness. Having studied with the founder of EFT, I can honestly say you're among the best of the best. Oh, thank you, Marie. I did not pay Marie to say that. I'm so grateful for the depth of your work. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. So I'll take that as something useful happened in that round. So good. What else do I have on here? Oops. So let's observe our process a little bit now. And we'll do a little tapping on what comes up. So, how do we play with this? Let us take a look as though you're about to do a tapping, if you're a tapper. If you have something else that you tend to use more as your go-to, some type of releasing, some type of anything, let us take one situation in your life, one thing you're working on, you want to change, not something with heavy trauma behind it. I mean, you don't always know for sure, but at least that appears as though it would be not the heaviest thing in your life. And become aware of it. You can start tapping anywhere you like. Become aware of whatever that thing is. I've got mine. You don't have to share. It's totally up to you. And it might be easier if you don't actually yet. So maybe you're dialing into something. If nothing's coming up, that's fine. Just tap and just observe the process. But if you've locked in on something, this is an area or a specific goal, and say, okay, we're gonna do some processing on it. I want you to slow down and notice like the zone you get into. What are you starting to do? What are you looking for? Are you like tensing up, saying, okay, here we go, it's time to do some work? Do you get more open and spacious? What do you feel like within yourself when this feeling starts to come up and we start to engage? Like, okay, we're going to do some tapping, we're going to do some processing here. How do you start to relate? Do you laser focus in on that thing? Okay, that's what I want to change. I need to stay really focused on money because I chose money. Do you get distracted? Right? How do you start relating? How do you relate to doing this work? What headspace, what emotional space, what zone do you start getting into? And then this would be a cool place if you've got anything like tension, or I start to open up, or I start to become curious, or I start to become like, uh-oh, I hope I do this right. Because we're gonna tap on these things. Spaced out and dissociated is also just as valid. It's equally useful to bring to the table. It'd also be good for me to know if this is too abstract. But if you've got some feeling of like, okay, I've got a topic, I'm ready to kind of zero in on it, and you start to notice, how do I start relating? What do I start feeling? Self-judgment and frustration for long-term goals. Okay, yeah. So immediately there is a sense of, there's some self-judgment and frustration when we go into, like, before we start the process. It feels an obligation. Oh, I love it, right? It feels like an obligation to work in this thing that is not letting move forward on the other stuff. Anyone else relate to that? I found the problem and I'm obligated to work on this thing. Here's the thing that's not letting me move forward. Oh, found something. There's some shame, there's some sadness, there's some limiting idea. Okay, let's fix that. I can't possibly tap on or resolve the intricate web of resistance and their causes. Good. Oh, this is way too big. Beautiful. So I'm going to start the round. Feel free to throw things into the chat as we do it, and I will incorporate it as best I can. So side of the hand, let's say, even though. When I go to do this work, even this tapping, that's supposed to be helping me, I can feel self-judgment, obligated to do it right, like I found the problem to fix. It's understandable. I choose to honor and accept myself anyway. Even though I'm doing this work in theory to help myself, to feel better. When I sit, or when I go to actually do it, I might notice some things immediately come up. Judgment, perfectionism, overwhelm, this isn't going to work. I have compassion for myself as best I can. So even though I am taking time to do this work, even that word work, I'm noticing it brings up some stuff. Even something that's supposed to be healing. I can come at myself pretty aggressively. Oh, I'm obligated to fix this thing. Judging myself. Can't believe this is still here. Can't possibly resolve this intricate web. I choose to accept myself as best I can anyway. Let's go through the points now. Say, I am noticing how I relate to myself, how I look at these feelings that arise, even when I'm doing so-called healing. That when I begin the process and I see these feelings, these emotions, perhaps these patterns, I can go into some interesting places. That immediate self-judgment, judging that it's still here, judging that I'm not further in my long-term goals, feeling like this is too big and too overwhelming. Feeling obligated, more work to do. I'm just noticing my physical and mental posture. Does this feel like I'm spending some quality time with myself? Or does this feel like homework? Does this feel like, oh, I'm discovering something within myself? Or, more junk. Way too much here. Maybe I'm just distracting myself by doing all this stuff. It's not actually surmountable. And I'm just noticing any ways that this whole dynamic within myself just feels heavy and dense. It feels like I'm fixing a house that's constantly breaking, or is too broken to really make a nice place. It doesn't feel like I'm just being with myself. Saying, hey, how you doing in there? What needs some attention today? But instead, finding things to fix. Because I must believe on some level that that's what this is about. And doesn't it make logical sense? Isn't that how we're taught most things? You find the problem, you solve the problem, you get reward for solving problem. You find where you're weak, you work really hard to make it strong, and then you succeed in life. I'm not sure how well that's actually working as far as the state of the planet. But that's just the paradigm. I wonder what it even feels like to sit down with myself, to look at an area of my life where there's a challenge, and actually be welcoming and say, what do you need? What's happening in there? What kind of support could you use? What's hurting you so much about this? When you have relationships with other humans, is there some end goal? You both fix each other and then what? It doesn't make sense. You spend time with them because you enjoy spending time with them. If you had a friend that saw you as a project, you need to do this, you need to change this. You should be dating this person and getting this job. Doesn't feel good, does it? It's not the interactions we like to have. Maybe I don't want that interaction with myself so much. I wonder what it would even look like to have a different type of interaction. Okay, let's take a breath. Bringing some more awareness and some different ways of looking at, okay, what's coming up and how am I with it? Those are really good things in the chat to give that some momentum as well. That feeling like it's an obligation, right? It's not like a relationship when you think about it that way. The more you think about it like a relationship with things going on within me, it can shift the dynamic. I'm curious if that brought anything up for you. And while that's happening, I would love to let you know about this new program I have where we're doing this exact type of call, like we did today with the group tapping and a topic 3 times a month. So very similar to what we're doing on over these 3 days, except ongoing, different topics. There's no shortage of topics, right? Money, relationships, body things, how we're looking at ourselves. And so the details here, it's the Inner Harmony Collective. It's the name of our group where we get together like this 3 times per month. The details of the schedule are on this page, on this link here. I'll also put it in the chat. Group tapping like we've been doing. So anonymous in the sense you don't see each other on camera. You can listen to them. They're good for replays because you can revisit these rounds anytime. If you are able to be there live, you can contribute in the chat this way and have your own sort of input put into the rounds and incorporated. But you can also just listen and you can watch the recordings as often as you want, as long as you're in there. And they will be categorized and you'll know ahead of time. So, okay, November 13th is going to be fill in the blank. So you'll have the topics at least, 2 weeks or probably more in advance, just so you can know, okay, I really want to be there for that one. This is a topic that matters to me. And there will be a list of the recordings in the library. So this is going to accumulate, obviously, over each month. And so the library will increase. It's $18 a month. That's the launch price. That's what it is right now. When I do it again, it will go up. It's one, you just go in and click a button if you want to cancel. If you really want to do this, you're in a different country, something with a different exchange rate, something else is going on, but you really want to be there, send me an email. I understand. It closes October 13th, meaning you can't sign up after that. I don't do it, at least right now, as the, okay, thank you for the question. No, it's not like the small group where I just tap with people one-on-one. That's full right now. That's kind of like I do a private session-ish with, like, there's maybe 5, 6 people on the call. I work one-on-one with someone for 40 minutes. This program is like the only thing you'll see on my website. And it's like this. It's exactly what we're doing today, but with different topics. So it's group like this. There's no one-on-one. October 13th, it's closed. I'll open it again in January at a higher price. I don't know exactly what that price is yet, but it's because so we get a group there in the beginning. I can get feedback from you all, what makes the calls better, what you like, kind of get a little rapport going. I prefer that to the kind of just, oh, I'll check it out for a month, fluctuate in and out. I mean, it's fine if you leave after a month, but I'm saying rather than it just being an open enrollment. So that's how it is for right now. If you join during today or tomorrow, while we have these calls going, there's 2 courses I did maybe a year or so ago, 2 years ago almost maybe, feeling safe in your body and healing from past breakups and relationships. Those will just get instantly given to you, and you keep those even if you cancel. So if you want to do it for 1 month, get 2 courses and 3 calls for $18, go for it. There's also an annual option in there for $180, which is like getting 2 months free. All of that is there on the sales page there. Like I said, I'll put that link in the chat, and I'll do it on YouTube as well if you are interested. I do not have a YouTube membership. This is my version of having ongoing, kind of deeper dives. It's tapping, but it's deeper dives than the videos. And it's more interactive and more personal because you're getting to put our stuff in the chat. And that's way deeper than me just like recording the videos I do solo. And so I'm doing it on my own system, and that's how to be part of that. You sign up, you'll instantly be in there. And like I said, you'll be also to be clear, when I increase the price in January, that does not apply if you sign up at this price, that's your price for as long as this continues. And I have no plans to not continue it. So as long as I'm kicking and going. So I'd love to have you in there. I'd love to keep doing these calls with you. Again, we have another one of these tomorrow. So we're not done yet today. We're almost done, but we will continue with that. But I wanted to let you know about that. And if you like this format and you want to do these multiple times a month. Now, the 3rd call each month, similar to like what we're doing tomorrow, is a lot more Q&A because these types of calls bring up questions. Sometimes people just have more questions about the emotional work in general. And so there will be much more time dedicated to Q&A on tomorrow's call and the 3rd call of every month. So you have time to kind of listen to the replays of the calls we do earlier in the month, and then some questions that come up are more general questions. Tomorrow we'll be looking at parts of ourselves and asking and listening to any questions you have. So anything that came up for you during the call to kind of wrap things up, give some perspectives here. And like I said, when we doing these calls every month, we'll piggyback off of this topic more. So there's a lot more meat in this topic, as you can see. I feel that I can be supporting to friends and colleagues, sometimes with family, but sometimes I treat family very severely because of the intimacy that I have with them, and I want them to improve. So I treat myself even more severely because I want to better myself. Yeah, understandable. Yeah, this, if I'm harsh with myself, I will better myself. This is a deep one, and it very much impacts our inner work, right? Our sense of, if I'm hard on myself and that's worked well for me in academics or sports or whatever, I should do that to my emotional world, and that will impact things. Are you going to open the one-on-one group anytime in the future? It depends on if people leave it. It's currently full. I believe one person may be leaving it to switch to this group because they're not able to be there live so often. So you can send me an email if you want to know about that. That'd be the best way to do that. I'm not going to be, I have no plans to open it, like make it open, because it has to stay small. Because I work with someone for like 40 minutes and then another person for 30 or 40 minutes on that call. So that's not open. But if someone leaves, the spot will open, and I think someone is. So great. Any other things came up for you during this process? We can just wrap it up on, or get any insights around. Thank you. I feel better. Good. Glad you feel better. Yeah, absolutely. That's totally understandable. You know, these calls are designed for, you don't have to be there, right? I mean, if you can be there and you like it, great. But the point is to have deeper processes than are on my channel. And you can say, I want to go do, 2 or 3 deeper tapping rounds on the subject of money. And we're doing that in December, right? So great. Well, thank you. Thank you for the comments here. I'll stay on for a minute if there's any more comments. There was a question here I think I missed. How can we make space for feelings, emotions, and thoughts when they feel overwhelming? Like when your body is speaking loudly, demanding a lot, but your capacity feels limited. Great question. Yes, thank you. Thanks for the comments. Yeah, don't force trying to make space. It's actually often the tapping, just the act of tapping is helpful, but don't think of it like, I need to make more space, because then you're going to be putting a type of pressure on yourself, right? You're already getting as much information as you can, like when your body is speaking loudly or demanding a lot. So if you're thinking like, I need to make more space for this, that thought and that action of trying to make space makes less space. Like it's ironic, but if you think about it, like, okay, I need to make more space. Now you're in that thought and you're in that energy of like trying to make space. Allowing it to be loud and to suck creates more space. Does that make sense? Like, damn, this is overwhelming. Okay, there's a lot here. That's more spacious. And it's okay to like take a step back. There's some tools like tearless trauma and things in EFT where, okay, I'm gonna create a little distance from this feeling intentionally. This is a little overwhelming. When you're doing it consciously, that's not bypassing or something, right? You say, I need to sort of step backwards. I would like to intentionally feel this a little less and be a little more the observer. If I ask in that way, if I do it consciously, it's conscious. It's not like I'm just backing away from it because I can't handle it or something. It's like, this is a little too much. I need some distance, and you're working with those feelings and stuff in the body. Say, hey, this is a lot for me right now. Is it okay if I step back from this, but I'm still listening? That's different than total distraction. And in life, sometimes distraction is necessary, right? But when you're sitting down or you're dedicating time to do this kind of process. So awesome. Thank you for the nice comments. I was sobbing almost this whole session and wasn't able to really listen to you or participate. Oh, yeah, that's why there's the recordings for sure. Maybe I triggered the real reason why I'm here, because it's stated when I ask myself a question, what is the goal of this work? That's a great insight. And that shows that there's a lot there. And that might be something you need to do some either one-on-one with, or revisit the recording, which is why it's here, the recording is here on YouTube, where you can revisit that and see what's going on. Finding a resource is the best thing, something to help you feel safe. Yeah, that's a good point. And if it doesn't have to mean something you're paying for if that's not a possibility for you. But yeah, that's a great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Trying to do it all alone can be extremely challenging. At the very least, videos, voices, something that helps you feel more soothed, walks in nature, little things like even that, anything you can add to your resource list of this is, and then you can go between the resource and the feeling. By resource, I mean like a place in your body that feels good. Great. Yeah. Finding something that you can, oscillate your attention between this feels safe. This is sort of my safe haven. This is the feeling. That's a very useful technique. And there's different ways to do that with tapping specifically, where you're kind of incorporating it almost like a round, to just simply oscillating your attention like that, finding something that feels good. And if nowhere in your body seems to feel good, you can still explore that question. What's a place I can direct my attention? So thank you for bringing that up. Very good points. Great. Well, this has been a pleasure. I hope I can see some of you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern. That gives people on different time zones or different schedules. And that's also, by the way, how it works in the calls for the Inner Harmony Collective. One weekend afternoon, one weekday afternoon, one evening. So hope that helps. I look forward to seeing some of you tomorrow. Okay, have a great rest of your day or evening. And thank you for the nice comments and for sharing really great insights during this whole time as well. I will see you soon.